You tune into the SportsCast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need. We give you outspoken thoughts about all the headlines. We talk baseball, football, hockey, and more. No matter the topic, we cover it. Get ready for the show and keep it outspoken. Keep it outspoken. We keep it outspoken only on the SportsCast. Tune into the SportsCast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need.
Hey guys, welcome in. It's the OutSpoken SportsCast here. We got your hosts Brian and Craig. Craig, how's your day, sir?
Not too bad. How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. We got some rain in Texas. The drought is over a little bit, so we'll take that here. We were having some trouble thinking of what we're going to talk about tonight, and all of a sudden, info flew in like crazy. We had to leave a lot of stuff out. But today's episode is 143, Talks on Tuesday, Who Hurts the Most edition. Our answer, our question for the week is, what quarterback will hurt more with the loss of the number one wide receiver? We got Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, or Ryan Tannehill, which a lot of people forget that he lost his number one wide receiver as well. And later on, we'll get into the headlines. We got a couple players that have requested trades. We've got some more injuries. Tampa Bay, more injuries as well. And we got some Kevin Durant demands at the end of the headlines there for you. All on the other side of this, guys. All right, guys, welcome in. It's episode 143, Talks on Tuesday, Who Hurts the Most edition. The question this week, Craig, is what quarterback will hurt more with the loss of the number one wide receiver? We have Patrick Mahomes, all right. We have Aaron Rodgers, and we have Ryan Tannehill, have all lost their number one wide receiving targets. And that can take a big hit to your offense. What are you going to do here? What are you going to do there? They're going to it's going to change up some of their offense, right? But I kind of went through and looked over the stats and everything, and we'll come to a final conclusion of our answers at the end of it here. Tyreek Hill has been a beast, one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in the league. He's just that super fast guy that gets down the field. And it's really allowed Patrick Mahomes to kind of throw the ball up, and he throws up a lot of prayers. Hill, over the last two seasons, has had over 1,200 yards. He's had 15 touchdowns last season and 9 the year before. And he averaged 14 yards a catch and 11 yards a catch. So he is the downfield threat for Patrick Mahomes. We know what he's capable of. Good luck covering this guy. He allows not only for him, but he allows others to eat on the offense, like Patrick Kelce, and he gives that security blanket there for Patrick Mahomes. Hill's going to make a big impact in Miami if Tua can get him the football. But I was shocked. Were you shocked to see that Hill? They didn't want to pay Hill in KC there. I was blown away that they would let him walk.
Well, I mean, I was and I wasn't, because when you do this, when you build teams like this, and you have the Mahomes and you have the Kelseys, and when you give Mahomes that much money, when you give Kelsey that much money, at some point somebody becomes a casualty. And I believe Tyreek Hill became the casualty, just like everywhere else. I mean, Dallas is running into the same thing where they've paid Dak, they've paid Zeke. Now they don't have, they can't go. They had to go let Amari go because $20 million a year. They didn't have enough to pay the guys that are coming up. They're in contract battles with the tight end now, and so every team that does this, you can only go so far. And that's why there's caps. And when you run into caps like this, you can't pay everybody. So Tyreek Hill became the casualty in Kansas City. Mari Cooper became the casualty in Dallas. Uh, Green Bay loses because they paid Rodgers. They can't pay.
Well, with that one, we actually offered Adams more money than what he got paid in Oakland, but he just wanted out, which is crazy to me. But
yeah, so but I mean, I believe.
No, I get where you're coming from.
That's why it wasn't just because we didn't want to pay Tyreek Hill. We don't think Tyreek Hill's any good. It was we have other guys like Travis Kelce. Who would you rather keep, Kelce or Hill?
Hill the way
Hill can probably be replaced by another guy that's fast.
That's what I was about to say is the type of wide receiver he is. He's easier to replace than a elite quarterback and an elite tight end. So, Adams, I looked through his last two seasons, and Adams in his career came on later. He wasn't that star right off the bat, but he turned out to be a star later on. He had 1,500 yards last year, 1,300 yards the year before, 11 touchdowns, 18 touchdowns, and he averaged 11 and then 12 yards a catch. So Devontae Adams to me was last season, not this last season, but the season before last. He was the number one wide receiver in the league. He is of quick release. You can't touch the guy off the ball. It's how good he was and how good he is running at routes. Fantastic. We're going to miss him here in Green Bay. And he goes over to Oakland, makes him a scary offense over there. But he was averaging quite a bit of yards, not as much as Tyreek Hill there, but he still got quite a bit of yards. He got more targets as well. And then you look at A.J. Brown on a team that runs the ball most of the majority of time. A.J. Brown, he had 869 yards last season, and he had 1,000 yards the year before. Only 5 touchdowns, and then he broke out with 11. But he averaged more yardage per catch, 13 and 15, than the other two, which is kind of interesting there. Losing a number one wide receiver is going to hurt, but I think it's different for all three. Now, let's look at Ryan Tannehill real quick. Brown got 105 targets for Ryan Tannehill last year. He's got the rushing game to lean on. He's got the rushing tack to lean on. So I don't think he's going to be hurt the worst out of these three quarterbacks. He's got Derrick Henry. If Derrick Henry's healthy, he will lean on them. The coach will lean on them. The defense as well. But the numbers with Derrick Henry and without Derrick Henry are drastically different. Without Derrick Henry last season, Tannehill threw 21 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and he had a rating of 89.6. That's not very good. With Henry the year before, he had 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions with a 106.5 rating with Derrick Henry. So Tannehill has to rely on the rushing attack of Derrick Henry to make him good. He relies heavily on the rushing attack. And we saw what happened in the playoffs without Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry did come back for that game, but he was not. He was a shell of himself. They couldn't score more than 16 points. So I don't think the Tennessee Titans will miss Brown as much as Rodgers and Patty Mahomes will. So I'm going to pit Ryan Tannehill. He's not going to hurt the worst out of these because they do rely so much. Their scheme and everything else relies so much on the rushing part of it. What do you think about Ryan Tannehill there?
See, I disagree. I think opposite because I think he's going to be heavily affected because now there's no threat of going deep. There's no threat of the guys that he has to throw the ball to now are no names. I mean, guys that you've not heard of.
They drafted the guy out of Arkansas.
Yeah.
What's his face?
And I mean, you got rookies up there catching footballs. And so if you don't have anything behind you, what are you going to do? Every defense is going to put 8 guys in the box, and they're going to go, beat us, Derrick Henry. And he's not going to be – I mean, he might be able to, but I don't think
they do that now anyways, right?
To an extent. But what I'm saying is I don't think – I'm not threatened by play action anymore because I don't have anything to go behind me.
They got
There's nobody that's going to get behind me.
That's the guy they drafted. I forgot.
And so – unless this guy is just a stud that they drafted, or unless they pick somebody up, on the free agent market, I don't see Tennessee being a threat passing wise, and people are going to make the run beat them. I think it affects Tannehill a lot. Now I don't think I wouldn't put him at number 1, but I personally would put him above one of the 2 others. Because kind of right in the middle, because I think it really does affect him.
See, I have him at number 3, and like I just said, to me, the Titans, they do that anyways. They say we're going to beat you with the run, and Derek, they line up 8, and they do that. Now, Treylon Burks is not A.J. Brown. He's more of a gadget type of wide receiver. He's going to play slot probably. He can do a little bit of everything, but he's not that put him on the outside, run deep every play type of guy that can come down with the ball. He's should be pretty interesting there. I'm interested to see how they use him. But and just for clarification, guys, just because we say these guys will hurt more doesn't mean they can't have a good season, right? I think there's big possibility that 2 of the 3 have a great season even without their guys, but realistically, you're going to see a drop off from some of these people. You're going to see a drop off from points and numbers. But I got Tennessee hurting the least, the least. You got them in the middle. So that's interesting. My number 2 in the middle is going to be Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers. He threw to Devontae Adams last year. He had 169 targets last season, and the year before that was 149 targets. And when it comes to Rodgers' case, being an elite quarterback as he is, he makes the players around him better. And his experience, his leadership will allow him to make those guys better. And he will be able to spread the ball around. And I've seen this a lot of times. You go ask a realistic Packers fan that what's one of the flaws Aaron Rodgers does when the playoffs come around. He focuses in on just Devontae Adams, and he leaves a lot of plays on the field. That's the problem with Aaron Rodgers. He focuses way too much on one guy. During the regular season, he spreads the ball around. He still focuses on Devontae Adams because obviously, if you got a number 1 guy, you're going to use him. But that's his flaw in the playoffs. So I think this not having him will make and force Rodgers to spread the ball around a lot more, especially when it comes to playoffs. We're going to lean on that rushing attack a lot better. But the ability that he has to lead these guys, I think he's number 2 there. I don't think he hurts as much and I don't think the Packers fall off too far from still winning the division and still being in games and still going pretty far. So I don't have them losing too terribly much. But what is your thought on Rodgers there, Craig?
I have Rodgers the hurting the least because I just think, first of all, you've heard the name Alan Lazard. He's every time you doubt Aaron Rodgers, he somehow comes up with an MVP season. I just think that um, he'll make the guy better. He'll still deal, and I trust Green Bay's head coach, the offensive guy calling the plays, more than I do the guy in Tennessee. I think that he can draw up some schemes to help Rodgers. I think the protection for Rodgers will be better as long as the line gets healthy, and you don't know right now with Bakhtiari. Right now he's on pup. I mean, that's a huge deal. You don't want to lose that. But I believe their offensive front's a little better. I believe their running game's dangerous, and I believe Green Bay has the balance that you can't just focus on the running game. You have to respect Lazard. You have to respect the new guy that they got that can run like the wind and
Christian
get
Watson.
behind guys. And as long as he can catch the football, then he'll be fine. The concern you have is when you hear the other day where guys that drop the football, Aaron Rodgers is just like, well, you must have not even come in the huddle. You're dead to me because I'm not throwing you the football anymore. And so if I just think Rodgers has more of we're not always going to be everybody in the box. We're gonna respect Rodgers' passing attempt. We're gonna respect guys. What's gonna give the running game some room. And I just don't think you're going to get that in Tennessee. In Tennessee, they are going to make Ryan Tannehill beat them, especially after the playoff game last year where Cincinnati said, Derrick Henry is not going to beat us. If Ryan Tannehill throws the ball over the yard, then that's fine. But we're not going to let Derrick Henry beat us. And I think that is the new game plan, especially with the threat of who in that wide receiver core is going to beat us. No one. I think that's going to affect Tennessee greatly. I think it doesn't affect Rodgers as much. I think it still affects him, but I think he still has a good season and still has maybe could be the MVP if these guys mesh well. But I don't I think he hurts a little bit, but I don't think he hurts as much as Tannehill, and definitely not as much as what I think this is going to do to Patrick Mahomes. Your mic.
All right, and thank you for that. Some might call me crazy, but I think losing Devontae Adams will make it better for Aaron Rodgers' issues.
It's
As
going to make
far
him throw
as
the ball around. It's going to make him
yeah,
focus on other people.
he's gonna have to trust other people, which he can have a hard time doing, and maybe that magical stuff he drank and will get him there, and the self
Which the
love to
NFL came out and
others.
said is not illegal.
Yeah, they said there's nothing wrong with it, so I don't know.
Well, you guys go hallucinate it up in the NFL.
Oh.
You guys can go see ghosts and talk to ghosts and talk whatever. But we cannot. You cannot have
Marijuana or
HGH or anything like that.
I don't.
But you can go hallucinate it up.
Yeah,
Guys, knock it down.
Interesting. I don't know if I don't. Does he take it during the season? I don't even know. I don't know if it's just an off-season thing.
Yeah. Right now he's gonna say that he doesn't take it at all. After that, he's gonna be like, "Did I say hallucinate?" No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's a weird.
I realized it caused the storm that it was going to cause by saying I was hallucinating in the off season.
He's a complicated fellow, isn't that what our Mark Murphy said? He's a complicated
that is an understatement of a millennium. That guy is wired a whole lot different than anybody else, and that's why I think it doesn't affect him as much. He just goes out there and with a chip on his shoulder and slings the ball around the yard and says, "Whatever you tell me I can't do, I'm going to do anyway."
Now, I hope Kat's not listening for this next one because we both got the same guy at number one. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to struggle this season, and I think he still has a good season, and I think the Chiefs will still be a good football team. But I think he struggles the most with Tyreek Hill gone. He threw the ball to Tyreek Hill 135 times and then 159 targets over the season last year. Patrick Mahomes, I've said it before. That's been the knock on him is he struggles with the long drives the down the field. He becomes impatient. He lives and dies on that deep ball. Cat, yes, Cat is back. Yay, Cat. Cat is back. And I think he may also struggle. She finished that sentence there. I think he's going to struggle a little bit because of the things I just said. That Patrick Mahomes, he gets a little too impatient, and he literally, there's been times I swear he just is like, yeah, Tyreek Hill's down there somewhere. I'm going to chunk it 60 yards, and somehow Tyreek Hill comes up with it. But something interesting here too is they targeted Hill 59 times in the playoffs the last 2 years. That's more than Adams and Brown combined in the playoffs for the last 2 seasons. They use him a lot. They use him a lot in the playoffs. He is their number one option in the offense, and just that of spreading them out, and too comfortable with Hill. It could be. It could be too comfortable there. They went and got MVS from Green Bay, and he's a speed guy. He does drop a lot of footballs, but he's that guy can be a speed guy. And you did draft who'd they draft out of is it Sky Moore? But he's gonna be fantastic. Green Bay should have got. I thought Green Bay would have got him on the board, but they went with Christian Watson, which I was fine with. But that guy looks to be great. Slot wide receiver, can do all the things, but he got hurt in the offseason. I don't know where we're at with that on him, but they're still going to be a good football team. But I think out of the 3 teams that lost the number 1 guy, Patrick Mahomes will struggle the most out of it. I'm just not sure MVS is that guy. And now Patrick Mahomes really, I think he needs to really focus on the being patient with the football, being patient with the long drives. And I think that's something that he's working on. And Andy Reid will have to figure out a way to use other guys. And, you, of course, still got the best tight end in the NFL, Kelsey. So he's not going anywhere. But I think he's going to have to deal with a lot of double teams. And he's going to have to deal with things he hasn't dealt with before because Tyreek Hill isn't there to open it up for him. But that's why I see Patrick Mahomes struggling the most. Craig, what about you?
Struggle is a strong word for me. I think Mahomes is okay, but my biggest question is it changes the entire dynamic of the Kansas City offense.
Yep.
The Kansas City offense has been known for strike fast, strike quick. We can get down 21 points and we can put it up in 10 minutes. And in 2 drives we can get back whatever we want at any point in time. In 2 plays, we can go 60 yards in 2 plays we want. And I think that dynamic of the offense is going to be taken away. I think they're going to have longer drives. I think they're going to have a running back. Their running back, that kid, when he first came out, his first 2 games was amazing. And now all of a sudden he's having fumble problems. He's having injury problems. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. He's not been able to get outside the tackles and turn the corner. And so I think they're going to need, if they're going to not suffer from losing Tyreek Hill, they're going to need the other pieces to mold together and move down the field strategically, not
more of a balance.
At 70, I'll just go up top.
Yeah.
And that's the deal. So I think you're going to see a different type of Kansas City offense, and this is really going to test Andy Reid to, are you really the offensive genius that everybody says you are? Or was it just Mahomes throwing it in the cannon and slinging it down the yard and Tyreek saves the day? And I think it when you don't have the over-the-top threat, and this is what Dallas is really going to deal with this year, because Amari was your over-the-top threat. CD likes to run crossing routes, likes to run outs, likes to run slants. He doesn't like to run 60 in the other direction. Amari was that guy. Gallup is that guy when he comes back a month in the season. When you don't have the threat of I'm going to go over the top and everybody can back up and play underneath, then you cannot. He's going to have to be more accurate. He's going to have to be more precise. He's going to have to the tight window throws. Patrick Mahomes has not had to make tight window throws because the guys that he's been throwing to, I could hit because they're wide open. And so when you have 3 or 4 yards of separation, you can, as an NFL, there's not an NFL quarterback, including the guy in Seattle, that
Drew
can't
Luck.
hit a wide open receiver.
Yeah.
It's when you throw it, when you have to put the needle through the thread through the needle, and you have to zip it in there. That is not exactly his strong suit, or he just hasn't had to do. I'm not going to say it's not his strong suit. He just hasn't had to do it. Maybe Mahomes is the most accurate guy. He's going to come out here and knock a paint can off a pole at 80 yards. I don't know. We've never seen him have to do it. We've seen him have all kinds of room and throw the ball over the yard, and I just don't think Kansas City's going to be able to do that. So I'm going to be very curious to see. And of course, nobody's going to play the preseason, so we're not going to see it till week 1. And so when week 1 rolls around, I'll be very interested to see what Reed comes up with, what kind of magic plan he comes up with to be able to get these guys open, to be able to get Mahomes some time and roll out and be able to buy him some time and everything like that.
Cat said, "Okay, Craig. Okay, LOL." You talk about balance and all these guys stepping up. I think you're right. And he's always going to have the guys step up. But I think, and this might be the year that teams do this, they start relying on that rushing attack more. Maybe Patrick, they rely on that rushing attack a little more to take some ease off there. Patrick Mahomes, we've heard Jerry Jones talking about going all in on Zeke Elliott, and he's going to be their workhorse. And Matt LaFleur's come out and said we're going to use our rushing attack more, and so this might be the year for that. But that may be one thing if they get that running back going, because he busted on the scene when he when he was there. He busted on the scene, and then he kind of got hurt, and then kind of fell off a little bit. But if they can get him going, it's going to take some pressure off of Mahomes, and I'm interested to see too what Andy Reid's going to do there. But so that was the question of the week. What quarterback would hurt the most? We both have Patrick Mahomes, and then I had Rodgers, and then I had Tannehill, and then Rodgers, and you
had
I had Rodgers, and then Tannehill, and then you had Tannehill and Rodgers. All right, guys. Well, we got the headlines coming up for you. It's 99% NFL, but we got a lot of good stuff to talk about.
What are we doing?
All right, guys. Headlines of the week. We've got a couple trade demands here, Craig. Cleveland has been in the news a lot lately, and it continues for them as Kareem Hunt asked for a trade. But Cleveland said, no, thank you. We're good. We're good, fam. You're going to play.
We're not getting rid of the whole team. We're just going to get rid of part of it.
Look, they have arguably the best rushing duo in the NFL. But where do we go from here? Do you think they sign him to a long-term deal? Do you think they eventually trade him? I don't think they can trade him away. Where do you think he goes, or what do you think that happens? Do you think they trade him? Do you think they sign him?
I think that's what he wants. That's what he wants is the money. He wants to. He's seeing all these guys. They're coming up with the new deals. And that's what he wants. And Cleveland just paid Watson, and I don't know where Chubb stands on his deal. I'd have to go look it up. But the bottom line is Cleveland wants him. You had the suspension that he had to go through with the domestic violence and everything like that. You've had some time missed. They just want him to prove himself, and I think they want him to show up. And right now he's holding out, and they're finding him, and we're having, I don't know if he's doing the hold in or the hold out or whatever he's doing, but he's not going to play. And so, I mean, yes, that is a dynamic duo when they are on the field together. But if he's not going to play, then how much leverage does he really have? I mean, if Kareem Hunt can he's missed so much time with the other suspensions, I don't think he can afford to not get paid and try to make a statement. So I think he eventually shows up once real football comes. But I don't really know who would need him because he's getting older in running back years.
The Cleveland Browns need him, especially now that Deshaun Watson's going to be out at least 6 games. We could be more.
Oh yeah,
They're appealing that right now, so we don't know when that's going to happen. And we don't know if it's going to be 6 games or a full year or what's going to go on. But they need all hands on deck to start the season. And if Kareem Hunt says I'm not playing no matter what, then that could really hurt their time when they don't have Watson. I think at the end of the day, I think he plays. I don't think he has much leverage there to say I'm going to sit down and lose money. But do they pay him at the end of the day? I don't know. You can't. I don't think you can pay 2 running backs.
No.
Big time money. You got to let one of them go.
Cap suicide.
Oh yeah, you might as well bury your team. And so Kareem Hunt would be the one to go there. And I just think I think they're going to call his bluff and say show up or lose money. And we're going to keep moving on.
For this season, then I think after the season they move on from him.
The Cleveland Browns want to I think they kind of want to bury their heads and get this season over with as fast as, or just get it started with all the crap they've dealt with. Another trade demand. Chicago's offseason keeps getting worse as their star player, Roquan Smith, requests a trade. Says he feels like the organization doesn't value what he brings to the table, and every contract discussion has been a take it or leave it. They're not willing to work with him. He feels disrespected, and he said right now he sees no path way back to where he's playing for Chicago. And I texted good old Mikey boy from work, and I said, "Hey, your best player just asked for a trade." And he said, "Who's that?" I said, "Roquan Smith," and he said the F word because he knows that this guy is an absolute beast. I think he's out. I think they trade him. I don't know really who. Green Bay, they're not going to trade him to the division. They're not going to trade him to their division rival in Green Bay, and I don't think really needed a linebacker. But he's a good trading chip to maybe get some guys in to start that rebuild because that team is.
It'll definitely expedient that expedite that rebuild. You'll get a couple solid picks. I don't know who needs. I mean, Dallas just signed Barr, so they don't really need another linebacker. Now they've been in the rumor of trading Van Der Esch, so maybe Van Der Esch and a pick for Roquan, and he comes in. And could you imagine that linebacking crew with Roquan Smith and Barr and
that'd be the best in that'd be the best linebacker crew
in there.
Parsons.
Parsons. That would be a linebacking crew for the ages. That would make that defense in Dallas stout. So I mean, it's just a matter of what people are wanting to give up. The price tag for Roquan Smith is not going to be, here's a 7. That's not going to happen. So you're going to have to,
and he's only 25.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to have to come with probably 2 1s. You're going to have to come with a player and a 1. You're going to have to really, really thing. And I just don't know who's willing to give that up.
Yeah, I'm not sure about 2 1s. That's
like a draft, so they haven't had a draft pick in like
true,
a decade.
And they
maybe give away something.
They just got rid of, they didn't get rid of, but they didn't sign back Von Miller. There you go. We'll sign Roquan Smith, and go for that Super Bowl number 2. I would hate to see that. That would make me mad. More bad news. We got bad news left and right for teams here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mike Evans goes out of practice with a hamstring injury. Another scare for the Bucs. This team has been riddled with injuries over this offseason. As we start this week into preseason football, but you got Mike Evans with a hamstring, which could take a lengthy time to actually heal. Because with hamstring injuries, you have to rest it. If you come out too early, you could end up making it worse. So that's bad news for them. You have their center.
Almost everyone you see that has a hamstring injury in training camp deals with it the entire year.
Yep.
They play a week here, play a couple weeks there, and they tweak it again. They play here, they play there, they tweak it again. It's those soft tissue injuries are never ever good. They're not. Yeah, I mean, every wide receiver you see that has them, somewhere in the season re-injures it.
Yeah, I think it's something.
Especially cold weather.
Oh yeah. I think it's something he's going to be dealing with. And then you got the center who went down there, and he can miss the whole season.
Good.
Tristan Wirfs went down. They said it wasn't serious, but all these injuries kind of piling up, and then you have Mr. Ancient quarterback there that is good. That's the one to retire. So we'll see. That's some good news for the Cowboys playing them week 1. We'll see who's all there 100% week 1. But that's good news for you guys.
We're almost exactly 1 month from opening weekend.
Yep. Jameis Winston, we got some more bad news for the Saints. Goes down to New Orleans, getting tested, done on his ankle to make sure it's just a sprain. They've got a lot of question marks this season. They've got a lot of issues. They got a brand new head coach. There's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts there in New Orleans. And the last thing they need is a injured quarterback to start the season with any questions of how his ankle is and is he going to be better. He played pretty good last year when he was healthy. Then he got hurt. So they're hoping that he can kind of do the same thing. But you've got your 2 best stars there that aren't going to be on the field. With Michael Thomas and Kamara. You don't know when they're coming back. A big mess there in New Orleans, and Jameis Winston goes down. So that's another it seems like a train wreck before the season even starts there for the New Orleans Saints.
They're blowing your bracket up. They're just mowing over that thing. But yeah, we don't know the situation with Kamara. That has been, you hear about it on social media, but when you hear from the NFL, like, it just hasn't been brought up. Goodell, the NFL, the Players Association, nobody's brought it up, but yet he's supposed to face a lengthy time suspension. This thing for Jameis, especially if it's I don't know exactly which ankle it is, but if it's his plant ankle to where he's forcing the ball down the field, if it's already rolled, then we already know how in basketball when you roll it, it becomes susceptible. When Luka rolls his or Steph rolls his, it becomes susceptible to be rolled again. So if he's rolling out, some guy, offensive lineman, rolls up on him or something like that, this is a very possible injury that could be re-aggravated as the season goes on. So and what they have behind him in New Orleans is just not great.
Oh no, definitely not. Without Jameis Winston, there's really no chance there of them
if you
winning
really
anything.
Want to jump on the whatever the wide receiver who plays, quarterback, bandwagon.
Tyreek Hill or what's his name? Hill.
Yeah.
Is it Hill? Still something.
Yeah.
I should have put the Cardinals in that playoff spot instead of the Saints, but you think something's going to happen. You try and predict because there's always that 2 teams in, 2 teams out. Throw a random team in there. So, well, Daniel Jones has been pathetic, which we all know that. But it was believed to be he was going to have a 1-year trial run. They didn't extend him. This is his last season or last, contract season there unless they extend him after. But he was going to have a 1-year trial run for Brian DeBall. But rumors are that he may not even start the season. The rumors are that he may actually be on the backup, as they did sign Tyrod Taylor, and Tyrod Taylor is better than Daniel Jones. I don't think there's an argument there. Tyrod Taylor is the purest form of a bus driving quarterback. But Daniel Jones has been looking bad. Have you seen any of the videos of him throwing?
No, I mean, you just know that he's not ever been
Not
great.
not catchable. He's throwing balls that aren't even close.
And they did say the other day that there was rumor that when you came up with the Garoppolo to the Giants, that rumor has now surfaced in media. So, boy, wouldn't that be a deal for Tyree or for Taylor? He can't catch a. This kid can't catch a break, man. Everywhere he goes, he's supposed to get a starting job, and then somebody comes out of nowhere and boots
Stabs him with a needle in his lung.
And so yeah, and so
My God.
wouldn't that be the deal? Is they go, yeah, we think you're better than Daniel Jones, but you're not better than Jimmy Garoppolo. So sit down, Tyrod.
Sorry, bro.
I mean, it would happen. It would be only to Tyrod would that happen. That 3 weeks before the season, we're going to trade for a quarterback. I don't want to see that if I'm the Dallas Cowboys. Is I want Daniel Jones to quarterback every game and them to be terrible at football.
Do you though?
Not that Tyrod Taylor is the next Aaron Rodgers, but I mean he's better than
do you though? If they suck, they get a better draft pick. I think you want Tyrod to
what have
come
they
in.
done with him? Nothing.
This year's draft was pretty good for the Giants.
They drafted Saquon Barkley,
this year's draft with a new owner or GM, that was good for the New York Giants. Now, I'm just saying,
I don't have to worry about where they draft.
I want my team, I want my divisions to go. I want them to be 500 where they're too good or too bad to be getting that number one pick and too good to be,
This coming from somebody who's had the Lions and the.
Hey, Minnesota's better than anybody in your division, except, well, obviously not Dallas, but
not for the last several years.
Oh, yes, they have been. They've been better than the Eagles, Redskins, and Giants the last couple of years. I'm not saying you're saying our division is a world beater because I know they're not good, but I digress. Now, Daniel Jones is
this coming from the guy who goes, I get 6 free wins a year because my division is terrible.
Well, we usually split with Minnesota, unfortunately.
Yeah,
y'all should have 6 easy wins this season. Carson Wentz is another one that looks like trash over there. They're talking about.
He hasn't looked good since he blew his knee up and missed the time. He was he went from being an MVP to being
nothing
guy and mentally, I think they mentally broke him in Philadelphia.
Oh,
he's never recovered.
They wrote the book on how to mentally break your star quarterback.
Yeah.
Step one. Win the Super Bowl with a backup.
Yeah, and then build a statue of him.
Step 2, put a statue of him so your star quarterback has to look at that every time it comes in.
Step 3, put the fat head of Nick Foles on the GM's wall.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. We're blowing right through these tonight, by the way. We are on our last headline, which we can probably throw maybe a couple more because we do have some extra. But let's throw your baseball one in there after the Kevin Durant news. Kevin Durant drops he dropped that he wanted out of Brooklyn a couple weeks ago, and that kind of went hush hush. Well, Kevin Durant comes back out and says, "It's either me or the coach and GM goes. I don't trust them. I don't believe in the path that we're going." He doesn't trust Steve Nash, doesn't trust Sean Marks. Well, the owner of the Nets, and I want to give this guy a round of applause because the owner says we trust the management. So it's basically right after Durant said this, the owner came out and said, I trust him, and we're going to make decisions going forward on that trust of my guys. Kevin Durant's going to find himself out of there. There's no way, and I love, that the owner's taking a stand because the NBA players have the most power out of any other sport there is. And they think they can just come in there and go, "This is what I want. You're going to give it to me, or I'm going to bounce." And the guy's like, "All right, we'll see you later." I'd rather lose because their best chance of winning is having Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. But he's basically saying, "All right, well, see you later, buddy. We'll find a trade partner for you because I'm not giving in to your demands." And this team has given them everything. This team, this ownership has given them everything they could ask for. And Kevin Durant just wants out. He just doesn't want to put the hard work in. So
Yeah, no. The problem is what they want for Durant. They want 37 number one picks, so nobody has even called them because they come out with all these unruly demands, and they've said that they want 1 million, number one picks, and nobody's even come close to their asking price. So that's why it's gone quiet. Is because nobody's even calling them because they're like, well, we can't. There's nobody that's going to give up the package that you want. So now Durant doubles down and goes, no, I'm serious. You're going to get rid of me or you're going to get rid of them. And the owner's like, no, we're not. You have a contract. Show up. You and Kyrie go work it out with Steve. Go over to his house, have another party, work it out, and figure it out because I trust my guy. I hired him, and I don't think it's on you. I think it's on I don't think it's on them. I think it's on you. I think it's on you and Kyrie to come in here and do what we're paying you to do.
Yep. He doesn't want the hard work. He
never has.
No, he's gone.
That's
He's
why he
gone on
went
the
and signed with
coattails of
Golden
Golden
State
State
because it was easy.
Easy.
He wants the pre-made championship. He wants the pre-made, stats, the pre-made everything.
Yep.
He doesn't want to get in the gym and work and outwork anybody.
They've done everything for this guy. They brought in James
Everybody
Harden. They got rid of it.
He's ever been
James
on.
Harden.
Him everything he's wanted.
Yep. Then they traded James Harden, and they got what's his face, Ben Simmons.
Yeah,
which we haven't seen really play with yet.
He has not played a single game yet.
This Kevin Durant's just I can't stand that guy. I can't stand Kyrie Irving either.
And he's got radar antennas for ears. He has dummy Twitter accounts. He has dummy social media accounts. This guy has got the sonar of rabbit ears to hear any kind of comment that is made about him. He might log into this podcast and be like, "We Kevin Durant," and they're talking about me on the, it's ridiculous that this guy, his skin is so thin and so paper deal that he can't take any criticism, any at all. And Kyrie's the same way. They're both they can dish it out and they can talk trash, but when it comes back at them, they're like, "Oh no, we'll just get traded."
Kyrie Irving's a Looney Tune.
Yeah, they both are. I mean, they're both fake cases.
Kevin Durant is just. Shaq said it good. They asked him about it today, and he said, "You built a house. You might as well, you got to live in it. You don't build a house and then go live in the one next door and then go over here." And his legacy will be nothing by the time he gets done with his career. And I can sit here and hate on him. He's a dang good player, but that aside, he's a daggum head case.
Yeah, they both are.
Throw out your baseball. You throw out the baseball headline there with the records.
Since the trade deadline, San Diego went like poker,
just like that,
all in. I want to sell the farm. We're gonna go get Drury. We're gonna go get Soto. We're going to go get everything. We're going to get pitching. We're going to sign our guys extensions. We're going to have an offense. Look at this offense we're going to have. It's going to be murderer's row. They come out and they immediately play the Dodgers and get swept 20-4. Now they get shut out by the Giants last night 1-0. They don't score at all. This team has the ownership has given them everything they wanted, and they're 1-6 since the All-Star break. They look horribly offensively. They look like they can't play together. They had one solid game. That was the first game they both played together. Drury hit a grand slam. Soto had a base hit, and everybody was happy. That was the one game they won. Since then, the offense has been putrid, and AJ Preller's just up here in his suite going, "What in the world are you guys doing? I gave you the everything, and you've nothing." And then the Yankees go, and if you're Joey Gallo, you go, "Hey, since the Dodgers traded for me, we're 6-0. Since you got rid of me, you're 0-6. What are you guys doing?" It
Joey
wasn't
Gallo
me,
is
it
the
was
key right
you.
there.
And so, I mean, now the Astros have the best record in the American League. The Yankees had a lead for the ages on the division. They'll probably still win the division, but I mean, now that the one seed home field advantage is now in question, they're not doing anything. There was every highlight was Aaron Judge hitting 900-foot homers. Now their offense's deal, the pitching's deal, and that's why we play 162 games, and that's why these trade deadlines don't always work out. I mean, Juan Soto, like I said, I like Soto, but he's average to me. He's not your guy that was worth backing the bread truck up for, backing the giving up your whole farm system. The San Diego Padres, if this doesn't work, everybody's going to be fired.
Oh,
Everybody.
yeah.
Because they sacrificed the next decade of baseball in San Diego for what they did in here. And it's win now. And if they don't do it in the next 2 years, the whole thing's gonna get fired. They'll have to blow it up. Those contracts that they're gonna sign are going to be very difficult to trade if they extend Soto and give him the $500 million that he wants. That would be almost a contract that would be impossible to offload.
I mean, it's a little early to be talking about that.
I know,
you know what I'm
but
saying?
what I'm saying is,
It's a little early.
I understand, but this you put it on paper and you look at it and you go, well, I mean, they're going to hit, they're going to score 9 runs a game. They haven't.
Yeah, and that's why Jeff, our other host, he's very good at not getting ahead of himself, especially in baseball. As he's like, "Hey, the Yankees are doing good. My team is killing it, but let's reel it in a little bit." So they start off a little slow, and we'll see what happens. The Padres, they've struggled even when they got Tatis and what's his face? What's the other guy there? Machado. You're like, okay, here we go. And it seems like injuries have been plagued there, and they really haven't kind of put it together. And well,
if you don't have anything to do this weekend, Fernando Tatis will be up there in Frisco playing this weekend as the San Antonio San Diego's minor league team is in town, and he's on a rehab assignment, and he's playing up in Frisco for the weekend.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So if you don't have anything to do, go watch Fernando Tatis smash balls into the lazy river at the park.
Yeah, maybe get an autograph. That'd be pretty sick. I had a buddy that actually did that. I don't know if he's in town twice or what.
I watched Darvish pitch up there on a rehab assignment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the what ballpark they use?
Frisco. There's a really nice stadium that literally has a lazy river and a pool that runs. You can go float in the lazy river out there.
That's cool. We went out to the Dr. Pepper ballpark for Dirt Nowinski's softball game one year. And I don't think that's the same one.
I don't know if that's. Yeah, I don't think that's it.
I'm not sure. I think there was a pool though.
Okay,
pretty cool.
Well, then maybe that's it.
It might have been it. It's called the Dr. Pepper ballpark, but
yeah.
And that game was, I thought it was gonna be so cool, but it was really, really boring.
Yeah,
so bad. But I think that's gonna be it for this episode. We got it on here in 53 minutes so far. We gave you the question of the week, which who hurts the most out of losing their number one quarterback. We have quite a bit of headlines. We're gonna leave some and help us fill out the Friday run down there and go from there. But we'll be back on Friday. And I don't know about you, Craig, but I don't know how to watch the Derek Jeter. I can't find it unless it's dumb because I probably could watch it on my computer, but I don't want to. I want to watch it on my TV. But ESPN Plus, I try and sign in on my TV and it doesn't verify it's so weird. I can't sign in on my TV to watch the Derek Jeter. Have you watched any of the Derek Jeter
I have not.
documentary?
I've not tried to even find it because I was going to wait till it all aired.
Yeah, binge it.
And just binge watch it. So I'll try this weekend to try to see if I can.
Yeah, let me know because I couldn't find it. I haven't found it to set. I think you can record on ESPN when it comes on. I don't know when it comes on. I usually wait and binge it.
It's on the like a late, they like a rerun after Sports Center or something like that. They normally play those things on like Sunday night. But anyhow, I will look it up and see where we can find it because it's definitely something that I want to check out.
It's a must.
Yeah,
just like the Michael Jordan documentary.
Yeah, I watched all those.
Aaron Hernandez.
Yep, I watched those. So yeah, I'm very, very big into sports documentaries and behind the scenes and people you just find out things that you didn't know about people.
I think I need to watch the Lance Armstrong one.
Yeah.
And the last one we did on the show was a while back, and we did the one off of it was the sex predator Dr. Nasser from the Olympics, and that was sick. But
yeah,
we did that one.
But I mean, yeah, you've got you've got stories of Rodman just taking vacations on the Bulls in the middle of the deal, and
that's one we could do. I would love to watch the Bulls one again and just go through episode by episode. But all right, guys. Well, it's been one heck of a week for us at work. We're not going to do and
it's only Tuesday.
Yeah, it's only Tuesday. We're not going to do the what's in your locker segment. It's only on Fridays because we don't do enough between here or there to really tell you much about our personal lives. But I hope you guys will finish the week strong. Stay positive out there. It's kind of hard to do sometimes, but keep a positive mindset. And remember, guys, God bless and keep it outspoken.